Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Liam Jenkins and welcome to another video here on Philly Sports Network. It's gonna be a bit of a rocky one, okay? So I need you to bear with me and buckle up. We usually talk this week in Philadelphia sports, but I think this deserves its own topic today. Something that happened in yesterday's loss has been living in my head rent-free. There are patterns you can draw from it, and I don't think it leads to a very happy ending for Eagles running back Miles Sanders. Now, I want to preempt this by saying I'm not a Miles Sanders hater. I like Sanders. I think he does have a lot of potential. He's also still quite raw, and that's okay. Those home runs he does hit are huge, and he does have that potential in abundance. The problem is, he's not being used right now. At least not in the way that fans and many others would like to see him used. And the reason why is very, very interesting to dissect. And there's one thing that stood out from yesterday's game when it came to Miles Sanders, alright? It wasn't the fact that he actually carried the ball more than twice as he did against Dallas. It wasn't his production. It wasn't one of the bigger runs. It was in the fourth quarter, and after a gaping silence, he's able to carry the ball, takes a big gain, gets a first down, sprints to the sideline, spikes the ball down, and stares Nick Sirianni in the eyes. As if to say, that's why you should give me the rock. That's why you put me in the game. Now, as a coach, you're going to love that. That's the heart you want your players to play with. As a player, Sanders isn't happy, and I really, really don't blame him, but we have seen this situation before. Now, without diving into the nitty-gritty, I want to cast your minds back to around the 2018 season. Jordan Howard was coming off of two 1,000-yard campaigns. Tarik Cohen was drafted in 2017. Matt Nagy joins the Chicago Bears as their head coach and inherits Tarik Cohen, a new back, and he's thinking, wow, well, this fits my pass-heavy offense beautifully, and out of nowhere, Cohen starts to displace Jordan Howard a little bit, and if there's one thing Howard struggled to do, it was catch the ball. Cohen did that very, very well, and before you know it, had 700 yards on top of 400 rushing yards as well. His yards per carry also was massively over what we saw in Jordan Howard, and it became very, very clear that the Bears had the running back that they want for that offense. The offense that fits just so happens to be Tarik Cohen. Jordan Howard was going into his contract year the next season, and they decided to trade him away for next to nothing to the Philadelphia Eagles. Voila, the rest of that is history. Then the team are very smart, and they go and draft a Jordan Howard-esque back in David Montgomery, and that has worked out absolutely beautifully for them. They keep the costs down because they don't need to pay Jordan Howard an exceptional amount of money after the years he's had. They get a similar style back on a rookie deal, and they still keep their feature back who does it all in Tarik Cohen. Fast forward to right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. We all assumed Nick Sirianni would run the ball based off of what we saw with Indianapolis, where they had Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack, real committee effort over the past few years, proven to be the base fundamental of that offense. But what we didn't really take into account was the type of back Sirianni might prefer in that situation. And what we saw very quickly in camp was Miles Sanders struggle catching the ball as he has over the past couple of years. That didn't change, unfortunately, this summer. And there was a notable uptick in Kenny Gainwell snaps. And out of nowhere, he's become arguably the more reliable back out of the backfield. And it's because the Eagles aren't running the ball. It isn't a knock on Miles Sanders. They're not running the ball with Kenny Gainwell. They're getting him out in space. He's being targeted as if he was a wide receiver, like 6, 7, 8 times a game. Sanders is getting that many carries, and that's fine, but he's not going to do the same amount of damage because this offense clearly works with a versatile running back who can catch out of the backfield. That's how they generate the ISO matchups. Like, the Eagles just don't like running up the middle under Nick Sirianni, for better or worse. Miles Sanders obviously also entering a contract year in 2022, so the Eagles all of a sudden in a very, very similar situation. They won't want to pay through the nose for Miles Sanders, especially if Kenny Gainwell can prove to be a do-it-all back who contributes in every asset. He's very effective running the ball. He can slash up the middle. He bursts through the hole with confidence, and he's very, very effective on the outside where Miles Sanders just isn't, and that's a fact, unfortunately. So as much as I like Miles Sanders and I want him to succeed, there is a clear bit of friction between between himself and the coach in the way that he wants to play, and he's not being used in the way that he was under Doug Peterson, and even that was sporadic. He deserves to be a bell cow back. He deserves to be a Zeke, a Dalvin Cook, a Najee Harris, a James Conner, a Derrick Henry type back who at least just has the prominent number of carries. You can compare it to Josh Jacobs in some ways, I suppose. You can look at Austin Eckler, I think would be a better sort of model for it. Like, just a number one back with a committee behind him. That's what he deserves to be. He was drafted in the second round to be that reason. He's not getting that opportunity anymore. So if I was Miles Sanders, I'd be pissed as well, especially if the offense is conking out the majority of the time. It just so happened it didn't against a terribly ranked defense against the run. So what does this mean for Miles Sanders? Well, I don't know, if I'm honest with you, but I wanted to raise this up as something to keep an eye on, because I do think that this time next offseason, if nothing changes, Miles Sanders isn't going to be an Eagle. It's that simple. And I would love to see it change. I'd love to see him get 15 carries for 84 yards. As boring as that stat line sounds, I would absolutely love it. I just don't think we're going to see it. I really don't think we're going to see that. You can see the winds of change blowing around Lincoln Financial Field, and they're swirling around Kenny Gainwell, and that just seems to be the way this team's headed right now. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this situation? Would you pay Miles Sanders? Would you use him differently? And is he going to play his way out of Philadelphia? Let me know in the comments, guys. From myself, Liam Jenkins, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.